We are about to embark upon a series of strange and exciting, dangerous adventures. Adventures that will lead us to all parts of the world.
Hello and welcome to another Bad Comic Review. This time we're looking at Wonder Woman issue 797. This is the 5th series from DC Comics, which is part of the Rebirth line, before they return to the regular numbering. This issue is part 1 of The Reckoning, written by Becky Cloonan and Michael Conrad, art by Amancay Nahuelpan, colors by Tamara Bonvillain, letters by Pat Brosseau. I have cover A by Yanick Paquette and Dave McCaig. Assistant editor Rebecca Bonvillain, edited by Brittany Holzer. Group editor Paul Kaminsky. This picks up where Lazarus Planet Revenge of the Gods issue 1 left off. Unless you've read that story, this issue is going to make almost no sense whatsoever. There are mild recaps, but not enough to really give you the context of what's actually happening here. And it's pretty annoying, because this probably should have been issue 2 of that series. So Hera has Diana tied with the lasso of truth on the Promethean cliffs, and she's being watched by a Cyclops. When Hecate shows up to help Diana, Diana refuses her help, assuming that it's a trap of some kind. And the mysterious stranger that we met in Lazarus Planet Revenge of the Gods issue 1 is back, this time a lot more interactive, and he is trying to help her escape the hordes of the undead and free her and help her escape and all that. There's also a talking squirrel, because why not? You gotta have something cutesy in there. Then she makes her way back to Themyscira, but she is needed in Man's World, and Queen Nubia, whose hair is gigantic for some reason, basically tells her to take off and we'll handle this. And we're left with an ending that implies some serious danger for Themyscira and Wonder Woman going to take revenge on the gods, to quote it. And this continues in Lazarus Planet Revenge of the Gods issue 2. So they're jumping back and forth to try and cross-promote and force you to buy their other books. There is a backup story with Mary Marvel called The Champion's Heart, and this is part 1 by Josie Campbell, with art by Caitlin Yarsky, colors by Jordie Bellaire, letters by Clayton Cowles, Rebecca Bonvillain, assistant editor, Brittany Holzer, editor. Mary ends up on Themyscira after going to the Amazon embassy in Boston. She's looking for Wonder Woman to get some guidance, and there are some women on the beach fighting the undead, so she helps out. They all brag about the magic items they've got for some reason, like it's a D&D game, and then they laugh about man's world thinking, and they sit around and validate each other for a while. Hoppy shows up to take Mary off to join in on Revenge of the Gods issue 2. This backup story was boring and stupid. The zombies looked okay, but the art looks very, very lazily drawn, especially the backgrounds. I didn't care for it at all. I thought it failed on all fronts. Aside from a couple of shots of zombies, the perspective shots weren't very good. The art looks really rushed. Again, this artist, like so many modern artists, can't seem to draw mouths, and the action scenes lacked any sort of dynamics. It was mostly just puffing each other up, validating each other, and a lot of pointless blather. This backup story has no place in this book whatsoever. The main story was pretty well written, and I did like the art overall. There's a few panels that were a bit weak, but the artist understands perspective shots. I don't understand the talking squirrel thing, but I'm not a huge Wonder Woman fan. There was a little bit of the girl power stuff, which you'd kind of expect in a Wonder Woman book, unfortunately. But the story was pretty fast-paced, and there was a lot going on. So I actually didn't mind this. I thought this main story in this issue was actually probably better than issue 1 of Revenge of the Gods. So it looks like this miniseries is going to be a pretty mixed bag, with some mediocrity mixed in with actual good storytelling. But like I said, the primary story is pretty solid, and the art is pretty good. I think Diana's face looks a little weird at times, but overall I was pretty impressed with it. I expected this to be a lot worse, and I was a little worried. I paid a lot of money for all these books that were going to be total garbage, but that's what I get for being behind on my reading, I guess. There is a grammar error in here that I'm seeing more and more in DC Comics, and I guess the editors don't know that when you have a word ending in S, you only need an apostrophe and not an apostrophe S. I don't know why that is such a problem in comics these days, especially at DC, but it seems to be a lack of basic understanding of grammar. And the fact there are 3 listed editors, that should have been caught by somebody, because you have an assistant editor, an editor, and a group editor, and nobody caught that. What do you guys do for a living over there? Do you just kind of sit around, play on Twitter? Because that seems to be what you do. Of course, that error is in the backup stories, so I doubt anybody looked at it real closely. Overall, I would say this issue is a better installment than the first issue of Lazarus Planet, but you do need to read that one before this to make any sense of this storyline. So So unfortunately, it's not a good jumping on point for new readers, and the backup story is total trash. So if you're looking to pick up this, I would say try and get it for less than $3. $5 is vastly overpriced, and it's probably going to end up in a dollar bin anyway. So you could always pick it up in trade paperback, but as usual, this is one of those cases where the trade is probably not going to be worth the cover price, so I would say get it cheap. The cover isn't bad, it's just a pose though. It doesn't really tell you anything about what's going on in the story. And really, Goddess Mode, like, we haven't overused the phraseology of video games enough in comic books, and it really doesn't tell you anything about the story or what's going on with Lazarus Planet, or the fact that you absolutely do need to read Revenge of the Gods before this issue. But that's going to do it for this one. Thank you so much for listening and supporting the channel. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss future reviews. If you'd like to help the channel out in other ways, links are in the description to various support methods, and as always, we hope to see you on the next one.